Hello, this is League Game Reviewer, and welcome to my channel. Oop, let me start the video here. And yeah, what if you play No Man's Sky and you're like really pissed or disappointed, which can happen because that was my case here. I played the game for a couple of hours and it wasn't for me because it kept breaking, it kept crashing, and for whatever reason it kept, like the FPS would go really low, as in less than 10 FPS. So when you don't want to save lose your save, it's really annoying because sometimes you're in the sky or you're just exploring. So you really want to save it fast, but you're going at 10 FPS. So yeah, good luck. So you're probably wondering, what game is there that looks like No Man's Sky or has some elements or just have a certain look to it or feel to it? Well, I'm here to help you with that. So let's go take a look at the game. So it's from 1 to 6, but there's, with the bonus 7 here. But the games, it's not from the best to the weakest to the cheapest to the highest price or whatever. It's just numbers and games, that's all. So, number 1, Elite Dangerous. It has an in-depth combat system, as you can see here. I don't know all the exact names because, it's been a bit since I haven't played that game, but I know there's multiple types of weapons, from missiles to laser kind of weapons and all other kinds of weapons, of course. You also got the assist flight, which you saw on the screen right now in the trailer, which means the ship will go in a certain direction. You just turn around if you turn off flight assist, and you'll be able to shoot an enemy. And you're still going in that in the initial direction. You also got some multiple roles, from being a trader to a bounty hunter or a miner, and probably even more in the upcoming expansions. You can also land on planet, which is really kind of cool, kind of like No Man's Sky. So you got a rover and everything, and you can do a lot of stuff. There's multiple events. There's even some online events going on. And you also have lots of controls. Personally, I played this game with a mouse and keyboard. It's really intuitive, it's really easy, and the bindings on the options menu is simply amazing. You can change everything you want to anything you want. If you have a HOTAS, I don't know if I said that properly, but a HOTA, whatever. The throttle thing going on with the joystick, you can use that as well. I didn't use the joystick yet on that because I do have it. I just like the mouse and keyboard. It's really intuitive. It's really easy to use. I even used it in combat, but if you die in combat, don't blame it on the mouse. Blame it on your skills. There's a lot of strategies involved in killing an enemy here. It also goes with your weapons and your modules and all that stuff. And it has really cool graphics as well. Personally, I'm really impressed with it. And with the system that I have, even though it's not the best out there, it's really good. The performance is good. The PC, it's not a port, but the PC, I don't know if it's going to be on console, but the PC version here, it's pretty rock solid. And there's also going to be, 6 expansions, I believe. And this current one, which is the first expansion called Elite Dangerous Horizon, there's going to be, if it's not already there, a kind of thing going on that you can pilot a ship with 2 pilots, which is kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to that. If I know that someone else has the game, but I just want to coax them to get it back. And there's also co-op, by the way. That's the only thing I hate about that game, even though I'm willing to go over it, is the fact that even in single player, you have to be connected online. Yeah, it's for the trading system, like the numbers and everything that's going on with the stats. Number 2 is Starbound. I really hesitated for that one, even though there's a lot of elements from No Man's Sky and into that game, because as you can see on the screen, it's a... Oh yes, I should have said this before going into my hesitation and everything here, my presentation of the game. This is just like an overview. It's not a review. And I also want to make this consistent. I'm using Steam right now with my webpage. With my Steam client opened up. I wanted to use the footage, but I don't have all the games installed, so that's why I want to keep this consistent. So I'm using the Steam webpage. Besides, there's the Like there's the Steam webpage including the videos and the pictures, so it should be enough to give you a big overall presentation of the games. So like I said regarding Starbound, it's a 2D platformer, and that's why I really hesitated, but as you can see, this has a lot of stuff to explore. Like, well, yeah, I would say way better than No Man's Sky. This exploration system, which means you'll find cities, as you can see, you'll find under the earth, whatever cities. You'll find villages, you'll find castles from what I can see. You'll find a lot of stuff going in there. You'll find cities in space, you'll find planets. Sorry for the coughing. You'll find, for example, I was on a planet and I found a ship that was crashed down. I think you're gonna see it really soon. And yeah, that's a kind of a Stargate or whatever. There's a lot of stuff to explore. There's a lot of stuff to find. Yeah, that starship here. Oh, too late. And I got inside because there were a couple of space pirates that was trying to destroy me and protecting some kind of treasure from what I can get from their text. That wasn't the alpha version, by the way. This is the initial released version. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot more stuff in there. I just reinstalled it, so I gotta like restart the whole thing. But there's many events, there's many things to explore on the planet. There's a lot of weapons, a lot of items. You have, I don't know, any kinds of weapons, from long-range shooting weapons, as you can see. You got swords, you got shields, you got magic stuff, you got, man, you got a lot of stuff. You also have multi-tools, you have, like I said, there's a lot of stuff you can build. It's like, there's also a building system that allows you to build probably anything you want to. There's like I believe 6 or 5 races or something, maybe a bit more. So you're able to create a lot of, I would say, buildings or houses the way you want to. It's really cool. It's a really cool game for, I think it's a low price of $16, well, $16.99, so it's really cheap for what it offers. There's many cities to get to visit. There's many quests as well. There's a lot of NPCs to talk to, and on top of that, it's co-op, which is kind of great. Number 3, Space Engineer. This game is in alpha since a couple of years, and they always have weekly updates. They always had content, or there's always fixes going on. The community supports this game it's simply amazing. There's a lot of mods to it. I think there's like 183,000 mods in that game, ranging from small ships to big ships to stations, to either stations in space or stations and ships on planets. You also have from spaceships to ships that are using Earth kind of modules, well, the atmospheric thrusters, for example. You can build whatever you want. You got 2 modes. From creative, which you can make whatever you want. You spawn every kind of block that's available in the game. If it's not available in the game, well, no problem. Just go ahead and look at the mods. It's probably out there. There's many types of consoles. Hell, if someone wants to do it, I think it exists. But you can literally make a Star Trek kind of ship in there. There's modules for it as well, and there's a lot of scripts to it as well. For example, you got the C-Pound, I believe, scripting, which means you just build a programmable block and you tell them to, well, it's just like programming. You can do simple stuff from using a container, and you just build a LCD panel, and then you display on the panel how much space is there left inside the container on that LCD panel in a percentage format. That's available. You can do that. You can do a lot of other things, of course, from sorting your equipment automatically, which it doesn't do that, of course, but with a little script, you can do that automatically. There's many things, like the only limit, it's your brain, actually. It's your creativity. There's really no limit, in fact. And you can also build stuff on planets. There's a lot of stuff. There's also not the creative mode, but the survival mode. It's kind of the same thing as any other survival mode type of game, which means you just start the game up and you mine stuff, you build stuff, and you try to survive, and you just try to not die. And right now there's one or two enemies right now, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. There's the drones, the kind of like there's either not ships, but bases on planets and in space that are building drones. And if you're within a certain kilometer, like a certain kilometer, I think it's 20 kilometers, they're going to go at your base and attack it. There's also some NPC ships around you, for example, that are appearing around like 10 kilometers, and they're trying to, well, they're not trying to do anything, but they're really close to you. And you also got some enemies, as in wolves and spiders. But of course, it's an alpha. There's always stuff getting added to your game. So I got over 500 hours with this game. No, actually, I got 633 hours. That's how good it is. It's not perfect, I can tell you. It's an alpha, but it's really cheap as well. I think it's $27. Sometimes you can find it at like 50% off or 25% off. This is a really highly recommended game. Keen House has made their own games, and they have also like 30 developers, I believe, or 20 or something. I can't even remember the name. They're working on AI. Yes, they are. There is some kind of AI kind of system going in there, which means you can program a ship to go from point A to point B to point D, and tell it to. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, it's there's some scripting involved here using C. So this is not a loss, of course. And how does this relate to No Man's Sky? Well, spaceships and fights. Oh yes, that's another thing. Some people out there just love to create servers, for example, which you can, because it's a multiplayer game, it's a co-op game, it's a PvP kind of game as well. It's whatever you want. Some people out there will create a server. You'll be able to join, spawn your ships, which you can, by the way, with the click of a button. And here you go. You can fight. You can do whatever you want. It's your own rules, your own game. This is a total kind of freedom kind of game. Highly recommended. Number 4, Imperiion Galactic Survival. The thing that makes the difference between this game, Imperiion Galactic Survival, and Space Engineer, at first, I'm really not kidding here, it's the food. Well, of course, there's many other differences here and there, but the thing is, this is supposed to be a space survival adventure game, which means there's a start and there's an end. There's a kind of story going on. Right now, it's in alpha stage. In the alpha version, that's what they sold me onto. And also on the fact that they're using the Unity engine. And why would it matter to you? Unity engine is they look at Jim Sterling's page, not page, but YouTube channel. He reviews a lot of shit game that uses Unity engine. Unfortunately, it has a bad reputation. But hey, fortunately for this game, as you can see on the screen, there's lots of stuff to it. There's lots of different planets out there. There's space, of course. You can go in space and build your base. Kind of the same thing when you go on planets. These bases are awesome because they're probably in creative mode, but in survival mode, well, at least with my game, they all suck. It's pretty basic. It does the stuff, you know. If I want to spend a lot of time, of course, I can make an awesome base like that. They're supposed to be big, I would say monsters or enemies or whatever you want to call it. You have food that you have to take care of. You got fuel that you have to use on your ships. It's a survival game, just like Space Engineer. There are differences here and there, but it's more built for adventure. Of course, there is survival, but it's more built around the adventure. That's what they sold me on to. There's some weapons. You can create a base. You can create whatever you want. You can create spaceships, hover ships. Kind of like Space Engineer. And there's a lot of stuff to it as well, and of course it's still in alpha. They are having some regular updates here and there, and there are planets in the game right now. I think there's 3 or 4, maybe a bit more planets, and in the future they plan to add more. Of course, they're just making their way up from a small system to a very large system. It seems to be a very solid game, as you can see with the reviews. I mean, it's on Steam, so every game that I present, you'll see that. Number 5, Pulsar Lost Colony. I haven't played a lot of hours into this one. Of course, I just played 1 hour from what you can see on the screen. But with my friend, when I played that game, it was simply amazing and it was a different experience. And that's what I can sell you on to that game. Well, I'm not even trying to sell you the game. It's just, well, yeah, okay, I do. It's $27. It's an alpha game, of course. But it looks very solid, and it looks very different from the other games, not from the visuals, but from the gameplay element. Like it says here, it's an online co-op up to 5 players. You just make a game, and you have a specific role on the ship. Here it is. Team up to operate an advanced starship and explore a randomized galaxy falling into chaos. Each player up to 5 takes a unique role and must work together in order to find a lost colony. That's what this game is. You have a spaceship which you can choose. You also have 5 players that controls the ships, from the captain that's giving orders to the weapons master, I believe. I can't even remember exactly, to the to the engineer and other stuff. Like there are aliens on. There's supposed to be aliens or enemies and monsters and stuff. For my experience, I went to a certain point in space. I think it's a solar system or just a planet or near a planet or something. I found a spaceship. Well, I found it like no, I received a distress call. That was my mission. I found the spaceship. It was a spaceship. That's what I discovered. I went to the spaceship, not the planet. And what I found was an empty spaceship. So I went around to know what's going on, or like where's the distress call coming from. It looks like all the crew members were in their quarters, and they were all in a jello or jelly kind of form because of a virus. That's what the data log said. It's based on exploration. It's a co-op teamwork game. And what's really cool about this one here, there are many other games that features this, and I love this when they do that. There's a roadmap. They tell you, kind of like Starbound when they did that. Like every week there's some kind of blog going on, and on their website they made a specific page that says where they are exactly, what's built, what needs to be built. Now, from what I can see from their website, the core system seems to be implemented, but the rest, like the AI, the content, and all the rest is not implemented yet. But from what I can see from a little bit of guide and from my experience, I've played recently, so I can tell you that the AI is in a workable state. So if you want to learn the game, it's a good thing to play a single-player game with 5 AIs. That way you learn what the basics are, at least on how to play the game. Then you can go ahead with your friends, not feeling lost, even though it would make a great YouTube video, as in failure upon the Pulsar Lost Colony. This is a good co-op experience. There's not enough games like this, or enough co-op kind of elements or gameplay elements based into, just based inside the games, which is too bad because it's really fun. That's where the fun in games are. Take the most shittiest game besides beer, and, well, besides game, and when you put beer, you're going to have the best game in the world, but, you know, co-op makes it as well. Anyways, this is a really good game, and for what, $27? I bought it. I think it's worth it, and from what you can see, well, I think it's worth it, and from you can see from the user reviews, it's pretty positive. Yeah, positive, not positive. Number 6, Spore. Alright, if you get the graphics out and the little mini games and you only play the Galaxy stage, it's No Man's Sky. Literally, it is just better. That's my opinion though, but I can tell you that all of the elements that was or is supposed to be in No Man's Sky, except for the multiplayer version, the multiplayer aspect, everything is in there. Anyways, there's a lot of stuff to do in the game. You got a couple of stages, from the microbes to the creature to the tribal to the civilization, or, well, before the Galactic one, and then there's the Galactic one. All are mini games. The game really starts when you're in space, and I will be honest, it's a chore and it feels like you're working. It feels like you're torturing yourself, because all of the little mini games, which you can see on the screen, feels so much casual. It feels like the game was stripped down. It feels like Electronic Arts or Maxis, I don't know who made that game or took the decision to say, you know these things, let's remove it and make something more user-friendly that everyone can play. That's what happened. I believe that's what happened. And yeah, right now you're in space from what you can see. The goal of the game is to conquer the galaxy, or you're a little part of galaxy. So after you're in the galaxy stage, you can win the game very, very, very fast. You got a certain set number of, I would say, I don't even remember exactly, but you can win the game just like in Civilization. And it's almost the same thing with the winning sequences, which means you can kill everyone, you win, or you buy everyone, you buy planets, you win, or you make alliances, you win. There's multiple types of winning. You can go, well, you can start from being a carnivore, and if you work your way up, you can be a totally aggressive kind of creature, and you end up in space with a different set of abilities and skills that you can use from the beginning, which means right there when you're going to see the microbes. When you get past that, it's going to give you skills that you can use throughout your game. Same thing if you don't even want to kill anyone, you just want to be like a herbivore, and you're going to start out as a microbe and you just want to eat plants, and you like continue your way and you try to make alliances instead of killing everyone, or making trades and so on and so on. You'll have different kind of abilities. In creature stage, if I'm correct, you'll be able to charm everyone with a simple click of a button, which means you can, if your charm is high enough, you can go see those kind of elite monsters that are big as like 10 times bigger than you. And if you do succeed, well, like this dude here, this yellow dude here, if you get to see him and charm him, oh my god, this is going to be great. I did it once, and I literally just like destroyed the planet. I extinct every creature on that planet. Lots of exploration, lots of stuff to do. You can build your own base on planets, which is really cool. You can design your own base, well, your own buildings, your own ship, your own creatures. The creature that you make, of course, you can eat. The only multiplayer aspect, which is kind of sad because there's no co-op, I would definitely see a co-op in there, is the fact that you can share your creations and you can see the creations of your friends. That's it. Yeah, it kind of sucks. There's also an expansion which I haven't played a lot, but it's Spore Galactic Adventures. From what I can see, it seems to be some kind of third-person adventure action game set in the Spore universe. It's a really good game. I don't care what people say. If you can get over the fact that the game was shit when it came out, like look at the reviews. I mean, the user reviews. It's pretty good. And then I played. Of course, it's not the true hours. I played way more than that. I played like what 50 hours. I got my it's 100 times better than No Man's Sky. There's a lot of things in there that are featured that are not in No Man's Sky. Sorry, Sean, this game is better. If you can get over the fact that the graphics are made for little kids, don't judge a book by its cover. This is a great little game from Maxis. It's one of their last ones. It's too bad because there's a remake or a remastered version of Spore going on somewhere. I think I'm going to look at it and make a demo of it. Number 7, Rodina. Alright, I didn't play that game. I got it from my recommended YouTube list on, I think it was from Nerdcube, I believe. From what I can see, you can build your ship, and here's a little weird thing. Well, no, it's, yeah, like it says here, it feels like Morrowind meets Elite. Well, Elite Dangerous. From what it says here in the description, Rodina is an immersive space exploration game which allows players to seamlessly travel across an entire full-scale solar system. Seamless means your character can travel anywhere in space, on planets, and in your ship with no loading screen. That is what Rodina is. From the video from Nerdcube, he saw like what you're seeing there. You're building your ship. You can build whatever you want, and on the outside, the external part, it's always the same thing from what I can see here. You can fight in space, you can fight on planets. And this little part of space, that little space battle, it makes me, I think of the old Atari games. I think it's called Defender, I think. It's weird, but I really love it. If you can pass over the fact that this game looks, I'm going to be honest, it looked like shit. Like graphically. There's definitely better looking games than this, but the elements, the gameplay, the like everything that this game offers you seems to be so much superior, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff to do. There seems to be a lot of stuff that this company is trying to make, of course, for a little... I didn't buy the game, but I really want to. It's in early access, of course. It's from Elliptic Games, and you can build your ship the way you want. And from the videos I saw, like I said, it seems to be great. I mean, there seems to be some kind of adventure, exploration thing going on. There doesn't seem to be a lot right now, but it looks really solid from what I can see. And that's my list. There's another one, perhaps, but yeah, I might tell you. You're probably going to laugh, but they are, if you want to feel that, yeah, Star Trek Online. I would say don't even look at the reviews, at the user reviews, but you can read them if you want to, so you know what you're getting into. But first of all, it's a free-to-play game. You control a ship. And yeah, there's always stuff from Perfect World that they're getting in. Like, there's always expansions and patches and stuff. You know, it's a free-to-play game. You control a ship. The space fights are absolutely spectacular. They're great from what I can see. You have a Star Trek ship, which you can build. Not build, but choose one. And from when you go from rank to rank, you get to choose other ships. It's an MMO game, just like World of Warcraft and all the other classic MMOs. This is not different, except that they're using the Star Trek theme, of course. So you build your character, which you got a couple of classes and races, of course. They got bonuses, if I'm correct. I may be wrong in this one. It's been a while since I haven't played that game. I played like for over 100 hours, so I don't even remember what I'm talking about, so this is to be taken with a grain of salt, because I know that the game, a lot of players, even though it's an MMO and it's a multiplayer game, it's a single-player experience. It feels weird to say this, but it is. Single-player or maybe even co-op, it may be great. You have lots of ships, you can see all the people that are using their own ships, which kind of adds to the experience. You can go on planets, you can fight in space, which is kind of great. That's the best aspect of the game. You have your Star Trek ship, you got your shields to manage, your weapon systems, your engines, and other kind of stuff. There's also the crew to manage. At some point, you can, kind of like the old Star Wars TIE Fighter games. You manage your systems. Like, there's multiple shields around you, and your ship have different kind of weapons that you can use. All have pros and cons, from being short range to long range to having a certain arc, so you can not build but use certain phaser weapons, for example, and they have a certain arc, like 40-degree arc, for example, to, I don't know, using missiles or whatever, or photon torpedoes or whatever you want to call them, because I can't remember the name exactly, which have a certain arc in front of you. So your ship has to be positioned in a certain point, like in a certain position, and so on and so on. And then there's this kind of Star Trek, old Star Trek, well, like the original one going on. So I have no clue what's going on with that one. Like I said, they always add stuff, and it's free, so you're not forced to spend money. And from what I can see, there's a lot of, well, not a lot, but there are some exploration going on. You can go on planet. That's I would say the weak part, because it feels like a shallow first-person experience. I felt like the Star Trek Online should have been a kind of adventure. Look at the Star Trek television series. That's what I wanted when you go on planets. Either, I would say, from going from a diplomatic mission to solving a murder, or going, well, you know, Star Trek kind of episode. But inside a game, that's what I want to see. Or the old Star Trek 25th anniversary on DOS kind of experience when you go on planets. But with this kind of setting, online, with those kind of graphics, personally, I would have loved that. But anyways, I still think it's really worth it. I mean, it's still free. So those are my list of games. Not from the worst to the best or best to the worst. It's just, I'm pretty sure if you do have some games, it's not listed here. I mean, I can't know every kind of space games out there. So that's my list. If you have more games or you have one game or something, go ahead and in the description comment. There are other alternatives to No Man's Sky that will fill in the void, of course. And there is a story to it, of course, but I'm going to let you on that. I'm not going to tell anything. Besides, I haven't played until the last level, so I don't really know what's going on exactly from start to finish. The only thing I know, it has to do with the space continuum, which I fucking hate from all of my heart. They always use the space-time continuum kind of story, which pisses me off. To me, it feels like a reboot or a remaster or something, or a re-something, which I hate. It's like, you know, I don't know what to do, so let's put them back in time and do something else. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy and weak. But, you know, this is the No Man's Sky alternative list, so if you have other games, go ahead and comment section. If you did like the video, go ahead and put a like, and have fun. See you later, guys.